cybersecurity are. And again, to go a bit more deeper into what this course is about, let's dive into the official website itself. So if you go to your browser, you can search here for EC Council. This is the organization which has created this course. It's based in US, California. So, and again, if you click on this tab here, train and certify, you can see these are all the courses available in cybersecurity. Okay. And the first step that you take is Certified Ethical Hacker. This is a course designed for people who have zero knowledge or intermediate knowledge on cybersecurity. Okay, we'll be teaching you everything about it from scratch. Okay, and if you scroll down, this here is the entire course content, the course module. Okay, these are the same exact modules that we'll be covering in our course as well. And once this course is done, you will be eligible for applying for all of these different job roles: penetration tester, ethical hacker, SIM threat responder, network engineer, SOC analyst, senior SOC analyst, security consultant, security administrator, etc., etc. These are all the job roles that you can start applying for once this course is done, once you're thorough with all the important topics in this course. Okay. Now, before we begin into the demo, before we start talking about the scores a bit more in depth, any questions or doubts up to this point? Any queries regarding cybersecurity? Anyone? I hope I'm audible fine, guys. I hope the audio is fine. I hope the screen is visible as well. Any issues with the audio or the video? Sajid, Sagat, Robin, Raghu, Bhuyan, Vijay,
We had
Arnav, Anand.
sorry.
Perfect.
Please
Now,
go ahead.
moving forward, let's get started with the demo without any further ado. Now, this course is called Certified Ethical Hacking. So let's start the demo with the definition of what hacking is and what ethical hacking is, because a lot of students have a misconception that they are one and the same. So let's clarify that first. Okay. So when we talk about hacking, this is the procedure of trying to gain access to information systems. Now, what I mean by that phrase, gaining access to information systems, is if I've hacked your computer or if I've hacked your mobile phone, it basically means I have complete control of that device now. I can steal information from that device. I can modify or destroy information on that device, or I can sell that information to other people without even the person or the organization owning that device knows about it. Okay, so all of this is done without the permission and without the knowledge of the person or the organization owning those systems. And these systems can be anything again. I've taken the example of a mobile phone or a laptop, but this can reflect on any other device as well, such as web servers, databases, your FTP servers, your organization's cloud environment, anything. Okay. And this is usually performed by hackers, obviously, for their own benefit. Or sometimes hackers are so mischievous, they can even do it just for fun. Okay. So to read out the definition again, hacking is the procedure of trying to gain access to information systems without the permission and without the knowledge of the organization who own those systems. And this is usually performed by hackers for their own benefit or even sometimes just for fun, just to be a bit mischievous, I would say. Now, if hacking is such a criminal activity, why do we have a course called ethical hacking? And how is this getting ethical or legal in any way possible? To define ethical hacking, on the other hand, this is the procedure of trying to find vulnerabilities. Okay, so this terminology called vulnerability is something that we keep coming across a lot in the upcoming days. To define it, it's a loophole, it's a flaw or a weakness in the information system or any service. And hackers try misusing or try exploiting these loopholes itself to get access to those devices. So they take advantage of those loopholes and they try getting access or they try getting into your systems, okay, without your knowledge. So our job in ethical hacking is the procedure of finding these vulnerabilities or loopholes which are leading to these attacks. Okay. And this is done in order to report the vulnerabilities back to the authority. So you're not going to misuse those vulnerabilities like a hacker or a cyber criminal. Your job is to find those vulnerabilities and report it back to the company so that they can understand how the systems are getting affected, okay, by that vulnerability. And once they understand that, we also give them a patch, we also give them a security update, okay, or we give them the solution basically to remove that vulnerability. Okay, and once this vulnerability has been removed, there is no other possible way for a hacker to cause any further harm or any further cyber threats. Okay, so ethical hacking, reading out the definition again, is the procedure to find vulnerabilities or loopholes in the information systems. And this is done with the consent and with the knowledge of the person or the organization owning those systems. Why do we do this? So that we can report the vulnerabilities back if found any, so that the authority can patch them up before any other hacker causes any harm. So you're protecting the organizations by finding the vulnerabilities first and reporting it and remediating it and closing all the pathways for the hacker to cause any further threats. Okay. Now, depending on these two definitions, you have the categories of hackers as well. There's someone known as a white hat hacker, a gray hat hacker, and a black hat hacker. Your black hat hackers are typical cyber criminals. These are the people who perform hacking for their own benefit or for fun without asking for consent. On the other end of the spectrum, we have white hat hackers. White hat hackers are people who abide by the laws and policies of the organization and they work for securing the organization's infrastructure. These are your typical ethical hackers, okay, or also commonly known as cybersecurity professionals. And in between, there's a third category, a mysterious category called gray hat hackers. Now, these are people who don't ask for permission first, but once they find a vulnerability, they report it back to the company for a minor benefit in return. That benefit is called a bounty, a financial reward. So they're working both offensively and defensively at various times to again to gain some personal benefit out of it. Okay, so they report the vulnerabilities back to the organization to get some money rewarded back to them, but they don't ask for permission before doing so. Okay, so that is where the gray hat hacker category falls. Okay, and no matter what category you take, black hat hackers, gray hat hackers, or white hat hackers, these are professionals who perform hacking or ethical hacking in a very systematic manner. Okay, and they follow a procedure for that. That procedure is called as cyber kill chain, and our entire course is going to revolve on this procedure itself. Okay. Before we dive into this procedure, any questions or doubts up to this point on the definitions of what hacking is, or what ethical hacking is, or what the different categories of hackers are? Anyone? Alok, Arnav, Saikar.
No, sir. As of now, no.
Audio is a bit low. Okay, no questions. Yeah, okay. This means there's no questions. Let's talk about the cyber kill chain now. So this is a procedure that hackers follow in order to perform a successful cyber attack. So when this procedure is properly followed, the chances of a system getting attacked are very high. Okay, and the same knowledge of this procedure also allows cybersecurity professionals to understand how these attacks are being performed, to understand what kind of attacks are possible on these various devices, and this also helps them in understanding how to prevent those attacks. Okay, so now they would know how to detect these attacks at the earliest time possible and prevent them at every level or at every device in the organization. Okay, so the procedure to attack is very important to know how to prevent those attacks as well. So unless and until a police official knows how a thief's mind works, they wouldn't know how to prevent those robberies and apply, and they wouldn't know where to apply those security measures, right? So the procedure that hackers follow in order to perform a successful cyber attack is called as cyber kill chain. And the knowledge of this procedure also allows cybersecurity professionals to understand how these attacks are happening, to detect them at the earliest time possible, and prevent them at every level or at every device in the organization. Okay. And the cyber kill chain consists of five important phases. There's something called as information gathering, there's something called as scanning, there's something called as gaining access, maintaining access, and reporting or clearing traces. These are the five steps involved in cyber kill chain. Okay, and our entire course is going to cover these same exact five steps. The entire duration of the course, which is around 35 days, will be working on this cyber kill chain itself. Okay, so the first step, which is called information gathering, is where we begin. Okay. Now, this step is also commonly known as reconnaissance or footprinting. Do not get confused by these various names. Okay. Different names for the same procedure, but by different organizations, I would say. Okay. And the main objective here is to obtain as much information or gather as much information as possible about your target organization. So here, this is all about us researching what data can we get about our organization from various online sources. So here, the data is obtained passively. What I mean by passively is we do not contact the organization in any way. We obtain all the data about that organization from the publicly available resources, from the various websites which are available on the internet. But the main question that arises here is what kind of information do we need to gather? And this here is the information as follows. You need to obtain the IP addresses, you need to obtain the network blocks. Network blocks are nothing but the group of IPs belonging to a certain organization. The who's records, the DNS records, domains and subdomains, operating system information, employee details, contact numbers of the employees, email addresses of the employees, and if possible, usernames and passwords which have leaked online in various data breaches. Now, believe it or not, all of this information is readily available on the internet for any organization. The only thing is you need to know what those websites are from where you can obtain that data. If I show you an example for this, a practical example, let's say if I wanted to get the DNS records for any company, all I have to do now is go to a browser and visit this website called DNS Dumpster, a very popular website in the cybersecurity domain. Now, this is capable of giving us the DNS records for any company. Now, some of you might not know what DNS records is, but don't worry. As we progress with our classes, we'll be learning everything from scratch. Okay. Although it might not look as if it is right now. Okay. But do not worry. I'm going to explain what a DNS server is. I'm going to explain what the DNS records are. We'll learn everything from scratch. So this is a course easily understandable even for people who come from a non-technical background. But for now, to understand what a DNS record is, it's a linking of every domain to its corresponding IP address. Okay, IP addresses are something which is like an identity for every device on the internet. It's a numerical address, something which looks like this, some x dot x dot x dot x. Okay, so you would have something like 192.168.0.10. That's something like a private IP. And if you look at something like 42.190 dot something dot something, okay, that's something else called a public IP. So we'll cover all that. Okay, what's a public IP? What's a private IP? Don't worry. For now, just understand that this is an identity for every device. This is something which looks like an identity for every device on the internet. Okay. Now, if I search for a website here, let's say if I search for wipro.com. Okay. Now this starts giving me the DNS records for Wipro. Okay. So it tells me what are the various web servers of Wipro, websites belonging to Wipro. It's all domains and subdomains here. And these websites are hosted on servers with these IP addresses. So as you can see, four numbers separated by dots. Okay. We'll cover what IP addresses are in detail. Don't worry. Okay. But this DNS server basically gives the linking between every website and its corresponding IP. And these IP addresses are very crucial for a hacker or a cyber professional. Okay, because on these IPs itself, you perform the upcoming stages of the attacks. You perform scanning and gaining access on these IPs itself. So obtain these IP addresses of any organization, you can visit DNS Dumpster. Okay, this is all the websites of Wipro. These are the mail servers of Wipro. Outlook, Wipro is using Outlook.com for their mail. And these are the DNS servers of Wipro, four DNS servers, which contain all this information. Okay. And this here is the network topology of Wipro, how Wipro servers are connected on the internet, and what is their entire internet topology. Okay. What all servers belong to Wipro and how they are interconnected. Okay. Now, believe it or not, all of this information is readily available for every organization in the world. Okay. And this is given out by the organization itself so that clients or customers can connect to their websites. Okay. This is nothing illegal, nothing, again, where we are doing something very secretively or hidden. This is publicly available information. But not many people know that this can be accessed this way. Okay. And this information is scattered across the internet. DNS dumpster collects all that information and puts it in one single place for easier access. Okay. So nothing illegal here. All this information is readily available on the internet, but it's located on different servers. So what DNS dumpster does is it collects all that information and puts it in one single page for every singular organization. In a similar manner, we'll be finding all the other pieces of information as well from the publicly available resources. Once all that data has been obtained, that data is then used again in scanning. Okay. So any queries or questions up to this point regarding information gathering? Okay, assuming no questions, moving forward, let's talk about scanning now. So this is the second phase of the hacking cycle, and this is also commonly known as enumeration. Okay, just a different name. And the main objective here is to gather extra information on the target organization and their devices. So this here is where we get some extra data, but by making active connections. Earlier, we got the data passive, if you remember. We did not make any direct contact with the organization. So when I was searching for information regarding Wipro and DNS dumpster, Wipro had no clue about it, that I got all this data. Okay. But in the next phase in scanning now, whatever IPs we obtained earlier, on those IP addresses, now we make direct connections and we try to find out some vulnerabilities. Okay. So to understand scanning in a much better way, we can divide scanning in three parts. There's something called as network scanning, there's something called as port scanning, and there's something called as vulnerability scanning. Network scanning is where we try to find out all the active devices in the target network. So in the organization of a Wipro's again company, what devices exist in their internal network? Okay, so how many routers do they have? How many switches do they have? How many firewalls do they have? Do they have any security measures, intrusion detection systems, intrusion prevention systems? How many web servers do they have? Do they have web servers on their premise or it's on the cloud? So basically, figuring out their internal network topology is network scanning, getting to know in a local organization, in a certain building, let's say in one single premise, what devices exist. On those devices, then you perform port scanning, figuring out on those devices what ports are open. And when I talk about ports, I'm talking about some logical ports, guys, on which you have applications and services running. So in port scanning, we try to figure out what ports are open and what services or what applications are they using in that network. And once you know what applications or services are running, finally we perform vulnerability scanning to figure out on that device what ports, sorry, on that device, on those ports, what applications or what services are vulnerable or weak to perform an attack on. Okay. So during this phase, we'll be working on two very important tools in cybersecurity. One is called Nmap. It is a very old tool, but still one of the best tools available for performing network and port scanning. It's been there since 1997, if I'm not wrong. Okay, if I just search for Nmap here, you can see it's a network scanner or I would say a port scanner as well. And I think it was mentioned here somewhere. It's been there since a very long time, anyways. Okay. And then the other tool, when we talk about vulnerability scanning, we'll be using a tool called Tenable Nessus, a very popular tool again. Same tool which is used in my organization as well to perform vulnerability scanning. And this is not free. Nmap is completely open source, guys. Anyone can use this for free. Nessus, on the other hand, is not for free. It's a commercial tool. It's quite expensive as well. It's around $7,500. And that only for 1 year subscription again. The company needs to make a payment of that amount to use this tool every single year. Okay. $7,500 is something like, I would say, 6.5 lakhs for that one single tool. Okay. Again, there are tools much more expensive than that as well. You might have seen such in your organization, but just to give you an idea, this is not a free tool. But there is luckily a trial version for this, and I'm going to show you how to install that and how to run Nessus for understanding how to use it in an organization. Okay. On my device, I have Nessus here installed as well. If you notice, I can log in with my credentials. And this is what your Nessus application looks like. Okay, where you can initiate various types of scans. And once these scans are initiated, you get a vulnerability report. It will elaborate specifically what system contains what misconfigurations on it or what vulnerabilities on it and how you can attack those vulnerabilities. But you can't just blindly trust a tool. You have to manually verify that report again. So that is where we, as penetration testers, perform the attacks manually. Okay, so that is called as vulnerability assessment, which comes in the next phase called gaining access. So this is the phase where the real hacking occurs. Attackers use the vulnerabilities found in the earlier phases, and now they try gaining access to a singular system or to a singular application or to the entire network as well. Okay, so this is the main important phase of the course. Covers a vast variety of topics as you can see. So let's talk about these now. Before that, any questions or doubts up to this point? Anyone? Am I going too fast? Should I slow down a bit? Is the
Uh,
pace fine?
yes, sir. A little bit of slowdown is needed, sir.
Oh, okay, sure. Please do let me know, guys, if it is a bit too fast. I'm so sorry. Do you want me to explain anything again, guys? If you've missed out something, should I explain anything again? Information gathering or what
Uh,
information gathering
no,
is?
no, sir. That was okay for me.
All fine. Okay,
Okay.
everyone. Others?
Okay, Shoaib, no
Sajid,
problem.
Alok, Arnav, Krishna,
I'm okay
Vijay,
with you.
Bhuyan, Srinivas, Raghu, Robin. Oh, okay. All fine.
Continue.
Right. Definitely, guys. Yeah, these might seem new topics to you, but don't worry. As mentioned, this is just a demo class, guys. I'm trying to give you an overview of what topics are included in this course so you have a complete idea of what the main objective for this course is. Okay, as we progress with our classes, we'll be learning everything from scratch. I'll be training you in a way as if I'll assume you have no knowledge on computers at all. Okay, so again, that is needed because some people might come from a non-technical background. Okay, so I'll explain from very scratch, like what are IP addresses, what are these various networking devices, what are switches, what are routers, okay, what are firewalls, what are intrusion detection systems, what are intrusion prevention systems. We'll cover all that first. Okay, so Wireshark is for, oh, Raghu, you asked me a question. Wireshark is for, that is for packet analysis, also commonly known as sniffing. Okay. In your organization, whatever traffic comes in or goes out can be captured by a tool called Wireshark if you install it on the endpoint, which is acting as the firewall. Okay. So again, your firewall will basically get a entry of all data coming into the organization or the exit of all data, the outgress or egress of all the data. Okay. So your Wireshark tool, if it's installed on a firewall, can basically capture every single packet and give you an analysis of it. Okay, so it shows you from where the packet is coming, what the packet is carrying, what port is it trying to access, okay, what port did it initiate from. So to give you a proper analysis of every packet in the network that is flowing in or going out, that is what we use for the tool Wireshark for. Okay. Is that clear, Raghu? Raghu, Peddi. Okay, assuming it is clear. Moving forward, yeah, let's talk about the gaining access module, guys. I'm going to explain now what topics we cover in this module. There's a vast variety of topics here. Do not get worried like what these topics are. The main intention here is to attack every single endpoint, every single kind of a device in an organization. So the first topic we learn here is system hacking. What I mean by system hacking is how do you crack or bypass any Windows or Linux operating system passwords if they are misconfigured. So let's say if a hacker gets access to your system, first thing he'll do is he'll try to exfiltrate all the data. He'll try to steal all your data. And again, if he's mischievous, he will lock you out of your own system as well. He'll change the password so that you cannot access your device again. In such a case, it's important for us to know how do we get access back to our own device. So if it is a password which is changed, how do we crack that password? How do we get to know what that new password is? And if it is too tough to crack, if it is again a very latest operating system and you're not able to crack it, how do you bypass it? Which means without even entering the password, how do you get access back to your data on the system? Okay, that's what we learn in system hacking, trying to crack or bypass any Windows operating system password and also on Linux as well. Okay. Then comes malware attacks. Malware is a word joined by two different words, malicious software. Okay. Any software which is malicious, which can perform an attack on your system is called a malware. And there are various categories in them. There's viruses, there's worms, there's trojans, there's spyware, adware, rootkit, whatnot. We'll practically be learning how to create malwares, how to detect malwares on your system, and how to defend your system from these same malwares. Okay, we'll be going a lot more in depth on what malwares are, how do you analyze these malwares, what operation is performed by each malware, how to create them, and how to defend them as well from your system. Sorry, how to defend your systems from these malwares. Okay, then comes network attacks. So these attacks like sniffing attack, man in the middle attack, denial of service attack, hacking Wi-Fi routers, all of this falls under network penetration testing. Using these attacks, hackers can capture and analyze your traffic, So basically, let's say if you're connected in a public Wi-Fi, these public Wi-Fis are never safe. In cafes, in airports, you never know, along with you, who else is connected in that network. And these attackers, so sorry about that. And these attackers in the network can capture and analyze your traffic with a tool like Wireshark. Okay, so they can see what usernames or passwords you're sending as well in packets. So these attacks are called as sniffing attacks or man-in-the-middle attacks. Then there's another attack called denial of service attack. This is where hackers can actually overload a server with huge amounts of traffic packets and they can make the server crash. Okay, so they are denying the service of that server to the actual clients. So if let's say if there's Amazon, what hackers can do is they can create multiple bots. Bots are devices which are hacked. Okay, so my device or your device can become a bot if they have trojans or malwares installed on our systems, and through our systems now, through thousands of bots like that, they initiate fake traffic to servers like Amazon. Okay, and if Amazon is not secure enough to block that traffic, it can crash and it can be unavailable for all its customers. So that's called a denial of service attack. So we'll practically learn how these denial of service attacks are performed and how do you prevent them? What are the security measures to prevent them in our organizations? Then comes hacking wireless networks. How do you attack Wi-Fi systems or Wi-Fi routers and crack the password for Wi-Fi routers? So all of these are the various attacks available for the network device. Okay. So all the various networking systems in our organization. Then comes social engineering. This is where hackers create fake websites, no matter what website it be. Social media pages like Instagram, Facebook, or whatever it be, or your organization's login page or your bank login pages. Okay. Hackers can create exact replicas of these various websites. Okay. And once they send those websites to victims, if they're not careful, and if they enter those credentials in those websites, their credentials now go to the attacker. Okay, so that is called as a phishing attack. So we'll practically learn how to check these phishing pages, how to verify these phishing pages, and rectify these attacks. Okay, so then comes hacking web servers or web applications. Now, every organization has a website which acts as the face for the organization on the internet, and these are either hosted on the cloud or on their on-premise web servers. Okay, so we'll practically learn how to attack these web servers from the back end or how to attack websites on the front end. So on these websites on the front end, there are sometimes vulnerabilities like SQL injection, cross-site scripting, broken authentication, file upload. Now, these might seem very gibberish to you, but these are websites vulnerabilities which could lead to various attacks. If I show you a practical example for this, let's say I go to my browser here, and the other day I found an SQL injection vulnerability. Now, don't worry what an SQL injection vulnerability is. Let me show this practically to you. So SQL injection. Yeah. So the other day, I found a vulnerability in this website. This is CBHE Delhi, a very popular website in India, Central Board of Higher Education. And again, official website itself, nothing fake here, as you can notice. Okay. So now this website has a login page actually, if you notice, cbhedelhi.com admin/login.php. Now, this login page, you have to enter some credentials here. If the credentials are right, you get login access. And these credentials might be stored in a database in the backend on some SQL database. Now, what hackers can do is rather than entering credentials, if this website is accepting special characters, they can inject malicious SQL queries. Okay, something like single quote or 1 = 1 hash. Now, don't worry what the logic of that query is. I'll explain that in the upcoming sessions. But this is a malicious query which is capable of bypassing authentications. And if web pages are accepting these special characters like this, I can copy that, paste it in the password field as well at times. Click on submit. And now you see admin panel. I didn't know the username for admin. I didn't know the password for admin. But now I've got admin access here. This should not have happened. Okay, if that is happening, it means the page is vulnerable to SQL injection. Similarly, there are other vulnerabilities like cross-site scripting, where we can inject JavaScript code on web pages of our choice and deface the website or steal others' cookies. There's broken authentication, where we can log in as other users with their cookies. There's file upload, where we can upload malicious files to a server and get complete control of the server. These are all vulnerabilities related to websites or web applications. Okay, so I'll practically show you what these website vulnerabilities are on live websites. Okay, and I'll show you how to remediate those, how to prevent those vulnerabilities as well. What is the solution to apply for these vulnerabilities to not exist on web pages? Okay, then comes evading techniques. So in an organization, you'll have security measures always. You'll have firewalls, you'll have intrusion detection systems, you'll have intrusion prevention systems, IDS or IPS. But having those devices is not the only step to take. Having them configured right is what matters the most. Because if these devices have misconfigurations on them, hackers can easily bypass those security measures, and that saves the entire purpose of those devices existing, of those security measures existing. Okay, so we learn how to evade or bypass these security measures and what vulnerabilities or what misconfigurations commonly exist on these devices. Okay, then comes vulnerability assessment. If you remember, this is what I was talking about earlier. Once you get a report from a tool like Tenablenesses, you have to verify that report. Whatever vulnerabilities or whatever misconfigurations are shown, you have to assess them. You have to manually attack on those vulnerabilities and verify if they are working or not. If they are working, we can tell the organization that this is a really true vulnerability shown in the report, and this is affecting your organization, and you have to protect your organization from this vulnerability. Okay. Then comes hacking mobile phones, where we learn how to attack an Android phone and get remote connections to that Android, using remote, again, Android Trojans. There's Apple device hacking as well, but that is not included in the course from EC Council, but that will be added as a bonus topic. Don't worry. Okay. So this here is the main objective of gaining access module. Just a brief overview, guys. The main agenda here is to understand attacking every single endpoint. We talk about system hacking, we talk about network hacking, we talk about wireless hacking, we talk about web server hacking, web application hacking, firewall hacking, mobile phone hacking. So every single endpoint, as small as a mobile phone to as big as a web application server or a database, is where we learn hacking each of these devices. Okay, so we talk about attacking every single endpoint and defending every single endpoint as well. That's the main objective of this module, gaining access. Is that clear? Any questions or doubts up to this point? Is the pace fine, guys? Am I still going too fast? Alok, Arnav, Krishna, Vijay, Bhuyan, Srinivas, Raghu, Robin, Saikat,
Good
Sheikh.
till now.
All fine. Any questions or doubts, guys, up to this point? Okay, Krishna, clear. Okay, perfect. So as mentioned, this is the main core of the subject, guys. The most important module, I would say. Okay, where a lot of again important topics are included. After this is done, we have two small modules left out, which is maintaining access and reporting or clearing traces. Now, maintaining access is where we try to maintain persistent connections. So once I've gotten access to your device, let's say your phone or your laptop or whatever it be, now these devices itself have a chance of shutting down or restarting. In organizations, your web servers or your FTP servers or your databases never shut down. But again, your employee devices, their laptops, their mobile phones or stuff, these have a chance of shutting down. Okay. And usually when a device is shut down, it loses all its connections, right? So maintaining access is where we try to retain that ownership. So even if your device restarts or even if your device shuts down and you start it up after a very long time, we should still have a connection persisting. Okay, so those are called as persistent connections, okay, or sticky connections. Okay, so hackers try to retain ownership of that device by maintaining a persistent connection. Okay, so we learn in maintaining access how these persistent connections are created. Okay, it involves some registry key modifications or some application installations. Okay, which will automatically start at every system reboot. Okay. Then there's reporting or clearing traces, where we learn as an ethical hacker, how do you report the vulnerabilities to the organization? So once you find the vulnerability, how do you report it? How do you provide the solutions for it? Okay, how again you elaborate all the steps taken to find that vulnerability and protect your systems from that vulnerability. All of this is put in a report. So we'll learn how to perform report writing in the last step. Okay. And finally, after that, on the other hand, if you're a cyber criminal, you don't perform reporting. You don't report anything. You perform basically clearing traces. Okay. You remove all the footprints or all the evidence of your actions by deleting the logs on the target. Okay. And therefore, so the main reason for that is so that you can hide your identity and become completely anonymous or untraceable so that you don't get caught. That is called as clearing cases. So we'll practically understand what are the logs that a hacker deletes here. What log files does he check? Or what log files does he delete? Okay. And if there's a log deleted, how do we verify that? How do we check if a certain log is not shown? Okay. Which could again basically be a symptom of a cyber threat attack. Okay. So we'll be learning what clearing traces is, what logs are usually deleted, and how do you check for that also. Okay. And that itself is the entire hacking cycle, the 5-step procedure of what cybersecurity professionals or what cyber criminals follow in real time. That concludes our demo here, guys. Okay. And as mentioned before we dive into all these topics, there's a lot of prerequisites included as well. We'll talk about networking fundamentals. We'll talk about Linux commands. We'll talk about the practical lab setup installation. So you will have a lab on your system itself. This course is completely practically oriented. I would say at least 80-20 ratio. 20% theoretical, 80% completely practical. We'll be working all the tools. I mean, we'll be working on all the tools that are used in real-time organizations. Okay. So very little theory content, no long theory sessions and nonsense. It's a very practically implemented course where we'll work on the same tools used in organizations itself. As mentioned, we'll work on tools like Nmap, we'll work on tools like Nessus, we'll be working on tools like Wireshark. Someone asked about this tool. Then we'll be working on a tool called Burp for web application testing. We'll be working on Metasploit framework. This is for vulnerability assessment. Okay. We'll be working on tools like John the Ripper. This is for password cracking. Okay. And we'll also, most importantly, we'll be working on this operating system called Kali OS, which is a Linux-based operating system. And this is one of the best operating systems available for cybersecurity. It comes pre-packaged with all the tools which I mentioned. Okay, so all the tools, Burp Hydra, John the Ripper, Metasploit, Nmap, SQLmap, Wireshark, all of these tools are pre-installed in one single operating system itself. Okay, so we'll be practically working on this one single OS a lot in the upcoming days. So I'm going to show you how to install this lab setup, how do you install this Kali tool on your operating system and run this. Okay, so that is the entire brief overview of what the course is about. Okay, to show you the entire course curriculum as well, browser course content. This is a brief overview, guys. I think this will be shared to you by the institute. This is the entire course curriculum. Okay, so we'll be learning virtualization, the practical lab setup, networking basics, Linux commands, Windows Server configurations, and then we dive into the hacking cycle, information gathering, scanning, gaining access modules, maintaining access and all that. Okay, this is a brief overview. For a much more detailed content, this is the documentation, the entire in-depth content, module by module. Okay, all this will be shared to you by the institute, guys. Don't worry. Okay, I hope when you registered for the session, you registered with your correct emails. Okay, because on those emails itself, you'll be getting all the content on the bonus content module, sorry, the entire modules of the course content and the upcoming videos as well, the recordings for those videos as well, and all that. Okay, so yeah, that's a brief overview on this course and what this is about and what we'll be learning throughout the sessions. If you have any questions also, you can ask me now, guys. Any questions about this topic?
Hi, sir. Hello.
Hi, Raghu.
So, what is the difference between the ethical hacker and penetration tester? Like the role?
Ethical hacking is the entire concept of those 5 hacking cycle modules. So this is the procedure that a hacker follows. One of the steps in ethical hacking is penetration testing. Okay, verifying every single vulnerability by attacking on that vulnerability. So this is commonly called as VAPT, vulnerability assessment by penetration testing. You're assessing every vulnerability by manually attacking on the vulnerabilities that are shown in the report. Penetration testing is attacking on the vulnerability. Okay. So it is a part, it is an operation that is performed by an ethical hacker. Okay. So ethical hackers or penetration testers are interchangeably used. Okay. It's one and the same thing. Okay. But ethical hacking is a much more broader term involving the entire 5 hacking cycle phase. Information gathering, scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and reporting. So the entire 5 module phase is something that is followed by ethical hackers. Okay. And also by penetration testers. Okay. So it can be used interchangeably a bit. Is that clear, Raghu?
Yeah, yes, okay.
Hi, Shoaib.
Hi, Sajid.
I'm audible.
Hello. Yeah,
Hi,
you're
yeah.
audible. A bit low. Your voice is a bit low, but yeah, you're audible.
So I don't know, like I am zero now, same ethical hacking. So how I build my career in the ethical hacking and what
I
type
mean,
of roles in the
Sajid,
market
the
will be.
first thing any person who needs to do when they want to get into the domain of cybersecurity is understand everything from the very fundamentals, from the core fundamentals. Okay, so if you're completely from a non-technical background, this course is going to structure you in a way where you learn everything from the very scratch. Okay, understanding IP addresses, understanding Linux commands, understanding the various
Mm,
services that are used in an
The
organization.
things I know that I'm working as a DevOps engineer, so I just want
Oh,
to,
that's good. But
yeah,
you're new to
so I know.
cybersecurity then, I suppose.
Okay.
Hello? Right. So then you would learn the first hacking cycle itself, Sajid. So you'll be basically learning how to perform these penetration tests on various vulnerabilities on every single endpoint. That is one thing. Secondly, you can build your profile by joining these hackathons and by finding vulnerabilities online on these various websites. Okay. One thing, the only better way of getting into a cybersecurity job role is first build your profile related to or oriented towards cybersecurity. You can now there are two ways for that. One, there's a free way, and one there's a quite an expensive way. The expensive way is you complete certification programs. So this course, Certified Ethical Hacking, is a certification as well. So you can write the certification exam. It's quite costly though. It's around $500. Okay. And once you write the exam, you'll be getting an EC Council certificate as well. Okay. So you'll be termed as Certified Ethical Hacker by EC Council. That when you include in your resume, that shows that you are from a cybersecurity background. You have learned the content and you know practical implementation of that content. Okay. Alternatively, if you don't want to spend that much money, you have to join hackathons. Okay. You have to implement. Okay. You basically perform pen testing on these various competitions and you include that participation at least in your resumes. That also shows that you're practically oriented in this concept. Okay. And you can find vulnerabilities online as a freelance pen tester as well. And there's tons and tons of websites where you can log in, create an account, and find vulnerabilities on websites. Okay, even the basic of basic vulnerabilities can be found there. Okay, and that is included in your resume again as a practical approach. So this is something which I'll be showing you by the end of this course, how to build your resume in the cybersecurity orientation. Okay. So what can you do for applying for cybersecurity job roles? How should your resume be structured? That is also included. Nothing to worry. Okay. So there's a free method and there's a paid method. And again, free method is again enrolling in these websites and finding vulnerabilities and including those reports in your resumes to show you that you're practically implementing these concepts. Or alternatively, paid method is writing a certification exam, including that certificate in your resume to show that you're again certified from EC Council or a well-recognized organization which gives
Okay.
certifications regarding this domain, cybersecurity. Okay, is that
So
clear, Sajid?
yeah, is this course suitable for me, or should I first take some basic course before joining
No,
this
no, no,
course?
no. Again, when you talk about again to get into cybersecurity, this is the go-to course itself, Sajid.
I don't want to
Again,
course, but
as
I want
mentioned,
to. Hi, okay. Then I
yeah,
go for.
again, as mentioned, the other institutes are not going to include these prerequisites as well. So
Okay.
we have understood that issue that a lot of students are facing from other institutes, and that is why we modified the content. So along with those extra 19 modules which are there in the cybersecurity CEH course, we have added a few extra bonus modules as well. Initially in the beginning for networking fundamentals, Linux commands, these modules are added. In the end, some other domains or other modules are also added basically to how to apply for SOC analyst job roles, the resume building part, the LinkedIn profile creation part. Okay, so all that is also added over here so that you have a complete overview. This is not included in other institutes. I train for multiple institutes actually. One of them is DURGASOFT, and there are some other in Mumbai and Bangalore as well. And those institutes are not including all this content. Okay, so I would say this is one of the best courses that you can find online. Not to
Thank
brag
you.
about it. But
Sorry, last question.
okay.
Difference between like a cyber security and what is an ethical hacker?
Cybersecurity is the domain. In that domain of cybersecurity, your job role is an ethical hacker. Okay, just like how you have networking as a domain and network administrator or network engineer as a job role, you have cybersecurity as a domain and ethical hacker as a job role. You perform ethical hacking in that. Ethical hacking is equal to network administration. Ethical hacker is equal to network administrator. Networking is equal to cybersecurity. You can correlate like that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Right.
Yep.
So cybersecurity is the domain. Ethical hacking is what you do, and who performs ethical hacking is a penetration tester or an ethical hacker. The job role. Okay. Different terminologies. Yeah.
Hi, sir.
Hi, Vijay.
Vijay here. Yeah, currently I'm working as an L1 support, like a SOC analyst.
Oh, perfect. Right.
But I'm just thinking like how suitable it is to build up my profile.
Towards penetration domain. So you're in SOC. This course is going to orient you to go towards NOC, Network Operations Center, how to perform penetration testing and how do you write reports for that pen test. So
But I
again,
don't have any previous knowledge on pen testing.
sorry, coming in.
I don't have any previous knowledge on pen testing.
Not required. That's what the main course, the agenda for the course is about. How to
Yes, yes.
perform pen testing is what we learn in the course.
Okay.
So 75% or 80% oriented towards NOC. And we'll discuss basics of SOC, like what is Splunk, how to install Splunk. You know what Splunk is, obviously, because you're a SOC analyst.
Yes.
And again, what
Actually,
does a SIM card?
yeah,
That's
sorry to disturb.
part of
We are working only on one of the SIM tool. That's it.
right. That's what you would do in SOC, Vijay. All
Yes,
about
yes.
learning how to perform analysis of all the logs coming in, basically logs from the various devices. That's what SOC analyst does. Okay. But as mentioned, that is one domain of cybersecurity. So your cybersecurity is streamlined in two directions. One is towards network pen testing and one is towards data analysis, which is your SOC. Okay. So this course is going to train you on what pen testing is, more importantly. How do you check the security of every single endpoint? How do you perform pen testing on every single endpoint? Okay. So that's what you'll be learning from scratch, even if you have no knowledge, no prior knowledge on pen testing. Okay. And
Okay,
as a
okay,
bonus added content, I'll be explaining to all the others as well what SOC is, what you do as a SOC analyst. That is also included.
okay, okay,
Okay.
okay. Thanks, sir.
No problem.
Hi, Shoaib.
Hi, Raghu.
Actually, I have three questions. The first thing is like after the completion of the course, can we select the role because there are many roles in cybersecurity, right? As you're
Yeah.
saying, that it is totally focused on penetration testing. So, is that only penetration, or we can select any other roles as well?
You can apply for SOC analyst as well, frankly speaking, because I'll be giving you the content for that as well. We'll be briefly touching the surface of it, but I'll be giving you the content at least. So for pen testing, you can apply for every pen testing job role, everything related to pen testing, cybersecurity auditor, penetration tester, network security engineer, security administrator. All of these job roles can be applied with this pen testing knowledge. The analyst job roles, the SOC analyst, security operations center analyst, those job roles you need to again put some extra effort on your end. I'll be explaining what SOC analysis is. I'll be explaining what tools they use. But you'll have to add up some extra knowledge on your end. And that extra knowledge also, I'll be sharing it myself. Okay. So
So,
you just need to go through that content yourself, though. The extra
so
knowledge.
we'll be in the red team or blue team because I just saw some attack and
Red team
defense.
operations. This course is more oriented towards red team. Blue team is your SOC analysis part. Red team is the pen testing part.
And this course, it's mostly focused on the certificate oriented, or it's for all the cybersecurity domain as well.
The main agenda is to get a job. That's the main part. So but again, as you progress for that, as you learn these things with this knowledge, you can also write the certification exam. You can attempt the certification as well. So this is more oriented towards what we learn practically or what we do practically in an organization. So from my work experience, what I've learned throughout the years, I'll be showing that in the modules that is given by the EC Council certification. Okay. So it's a mix of both, I would say. But once this course is done, you will be eligible to attend the certification exam. You will be capable of writing it and you'll be capable of passing it as well. But what I'll be training you is much more practically oriented in the same modules what I have learned throughout the years in my cybersecurity experience. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, it got
Next question. You had three questions. No?
done.
Hello.
Sorry, it got disconnected, Shoaib. I was not able to hear.
Oh, you were not able to hear. Oh, no problem.
The last
Again, as mentioned, Raghu, the main agenda for this course is to know what to do as a penetration tester. So, how do you apply for these job roles? And in that job role, what you do as a penetration tester. But this will be shown in the same exact modules of the certification program. So, once this course is done, you'll be able to write or attend the certification exam as well. And you'll practically know from the cybersecurity pen tester's point of view, what you do in the job role in real time. Okay. So eligible for both, I would say, to attend the certification exam and also from the cybersecurity job role perspective. Okay. Just having the certificate is of no use, right, Raghu? Just you learning again content according to the certificate, just the theoretical content and passing the exam is of no use. You need to know what you do as a penetration tester in real time. So again, it's a mix of where I am showing you from my experience of the last 7 years as a pen tester. Okay, to understand the modules according to the curriculum of the EC Council certification program. Is that clear? Hello, Raghu.
Yeah, got it, got it.
What's your third question?
Yeah, that's it. Three done.
No, you asked three. Oh.
Yeah, the role
Okay.
and the team and the certification.
Right. Any other questions, guys? Any other doubts up to this point?
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Shoaib,
Yeah, Vijay. I'm here.
yeah, if I want to proceed as a SOC analyst, is this role like exactly suitable for me, or do I need to take some other course?
No, as mentioned, this is more of a pen testing related course, Vijay, not for SOC analysis. So whatever you already know as a L1 SOC analyst, that only that much you'll learn here. Okay, so not suitable for SOC analysis. This is more of a pen testing related course, I would say, for ethical
Okay.
hacking and penetration testing, not for SOC analysis. So if you're already working as a SOC analyst, you will definitely be knowing all the content that I show related to SOC analysis part, but not related to the pen testing part.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you just brief which is going to be most effective one, like a pen tester or a SOC analyst?
No, nothing like that, Vijay. Both of when you talk about any cybersecurity related domain in any organization, these two are equally valued. So you can either go towards NOC or you can either go towards SOC. Okay. But the thing is, SOC is there's very little upgradation in SOC. That's the issue. Okay. Pen testing, you have much more higher upgradation. You can go for manager level job roles as well with pen testing. With SOC, that is not possible, is what I know. That's the only thing. You can L1, L2, L3, it gets stuck after that. But in pen testing, there are higher job roles as well, cybersecurity administration. And then if you do some certifications like CISSP or CISA, then you can go for auditor or you can go for basically manager level job roles. Auditing cannot be done through SOC analysis. That's the issue.
Oh, then
Any other question? Yeah.
one more question. What about the market? Like, it is good. Like how do we find the market for a pen testing or a SOC analyst? Which one is better?
How do you find the market for what?
No, job opportunities I'm talking about.
Again, as we all know, the job opportunity sector is a bit tough right now. But again, there are job opportunities. There's nothing like there's no job roles at all. The thing is, you have to again upgrade yourself. You have to update your LinkedIn profile and start applying in the regular job roles or job websites itself, which nothing else,
Okay.
nothing different than others. The only thing that is going to differentiate you is how you're building your profile and how you're including the practical content that is required in your resume. Okay. So you
Okay.
including those tools, you including those techniques that again only a professional would know is how it would build your resume apart from the others. And including the projects thing or including the practical experience part as well. Okay. You can't get that from ChatGPT. You can't again, you can include that in your resume. Maybe you can get that from ChatGPT, but when asked questions, you might not be able to answer that. So it's all about you understanding these things practically, implementing them practically, and then including in your resume and applying the same as any other person. Okay, on LinkedIn or on the same job profile websites. Okay, so once your resume gets filtered, once it gets selected, you answering the questions is possible only when you know the content practically, right? So that practical content is what I'll be giving you for sure. That is my end of the guarantee. So yeah, other than that, it's all about how good your resume is and how good you
Yes,
are
yes.
at applying.
Thanks, sir.
Right. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah,
So
sir,
don't
I
worry,
have
again,
a
as
couple of
mentioned, I'll
questions,
be
sir.
showing you how to create your resume by this end of this course as well. How to create it in a way where it is ATS friendly. I think you know what ATS is if you've applied for job roles. Okay, your resume needs to be structured in a certain way where it can filter those ATSs and it gets filtered across it. So I'll be showing you what content specifically to add in your resume, what tools to specifically mention. What can you add as a project in your resume? I'll give you all that content. Don't worry. Okay. So again, that is a bonus concept that is not included in any other institutes, guys. So I'm just doing that because I know I know how what resumes get filtered in our organization, at least according to the ATS. So I know what content you should be adding. So I'll be sharing that also. Okay. Could you please tell me the system requirement we need to have? Oh, good question, Krishna. Bare minimum requirement, I would say, is 8 gigabytes of RAM. So that's bare minimum. Recommended is at least 12 or 16 gigs of RAM and storage around 50 to 100 GB. That's more than sufficient. Okay. Processor can be anything. i3 processor would also work. i5 is recommended, but i3 will also work. Okay. Ryzen 3 or i3 or i5 or Ryzen 5. Storage 50 to 100 gigabytes of free storage and RAM 8 gigabytes to 16 gigabytes. Anything is recommended. Any other questions, guys?
Hello, sir.
Regarding the course or the content?
Hello.
Yeah,
Sure.
Robin.
Yeah, last question. Like I have a AWS account, right? So there is in a AWS account we can create the Kali and all things, but I think they are paid services.
You can create it online, Robin. But the thing is, we'll be installing multiple virtual machines. And again, when you perform network scanning, they need to be in the same network. So in that AWS scenario, I don't think you can create them in the same network, but you can ping from one device to the other. So that is why we'll be doing it locally. So there's a concept called network scanning, network penetration testing, where you are located in the network and you're performing a scan on all the devices and attacking the devices in your local network. That might not be possible with AWS. Okay. If you're having a website that can be scanned from anywhere, that can be attacked from anywhere, you can host that website on AWS. But for a network related pen testing scenario, for performing attacks in a local network, you need to install it in your device. Okay. So what that for that we'll be performing virtualization. Okay. In your one single OS, you'll install multiple operating systems acting as if they're in the same network. So AWS might not be a good solution, I would say, Robin. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Sorry. The best way is install
Oh, Sajid,
inside
this was
the
your question. Acha.
inside the laptop.
Yeah, on your laptop itself.
On
If
the
you have like 100 gigs of free storage and like 8 to 16 gigs of RAM, that's more than sufficient. You don't need the
okay.
AWS account as well separately. Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
Robin, you were
great.
saying something?
Sir, actually, I am 2024 passed out, sir.
Okay.
I
Just
want
Robin.
to make I want to make my career into cybersecurity.
Hmm.
But what I am hearing is there are no job market much for cybersecurity for the freshers, but there is a good job market for networking. Okay, what do you suggest, sir? Whether I need to go to networking side first, do 2 years of job in networking and switch to cybersecurity? Okay, what do you suggest, sir?
Uh, Let me ask this question to others. If there's anyone in networking here in this demo, anyone who comes from a networking background.
No,
Oh, Vijay, you are in networking domain?
no, no.
Anyone here who's from a networking background. So the point is, Robin, it's not like there's no job market in cybersecurity specifically. There is the job market dullness in every domain currently because, again, a lot of people are getting laid over. And unless and until you upgrade your skills, you cannot stay in the market. That's the point. Okay. There's nothing like networking. Frankly speaking, Robin, job roles like these network engineers and network administrators are slowly on the risk part, on the risk scale, because a lot of things are getting automated. Okay, so cybersecurity is going to come in that phase in the upcoming years. So there's no automation yet in cybersecurity, but I guarantee you, down the line in 5 years, a lot of cybersecurity job roles will be also at risk unless and until you are upgrading yourself. Okay, so currently in the market there is a dullness in every domain. Okay, but if you're upgrading and if you're learning something new and if you're applying for that, there's no risk on that, even if it's cybersecurity. Okay, but you need to be updated to the track. Okay, so we need to learn what cybersecurity is. We need to learn how is it affecting uh, basically AI as well. So that is also a part included in this course, cybersecurity with AI. Okay, how does it affect from an AI perspective? Okay, so it is on track with what is required according to the market right now. Okay, so there's no such thing like there is no job role at all in cybersecurity. Okay, there are job roles, but the thing is they're getting filtered out. So with just basic knowledge without practical experience, you will never be able to obtain a job in cybersecurity. With only practical knowledge of the tools that are used in cybersecurity from a professional who's already working in the organization, that is where there's a chance of you getting a job. With just theory knowledge from YouTube and with just theory knowledge from courses of, again, PDF documents, you're not even going to secure a job. That is for sure. Unless and only you know what tools are used in organization and how to use those tools, how to practically implement them. Okay, so that is like you knowing how to, you knowing as if you're working in that organization itself. So that is what the companies are expecting right now, even from a fresher. Okay, so if you have that knowledge, it's easy to crack a job. Okay, without the knowledge of using those tools practically, there is no scope at all. There is no chance in any domain right now, not just cybersecurity. To answer your question, Robin. Okay, is that clear?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. Yeah. I have a good time. Yeah.
No problem. Any other questions, guys? So even if I'm a fresher, guys, the scenario right now is they're expecting you to know these tools already. So even if you have just passed out of college, they're expecting you to know these tools. So that's where the problem is occurring. And you wouldn't know that unless and until you have the expertise of working in an organization or at least having that content from a person who knows those tools in an organization. Okay. So that's the issue here. Right. Any other questions? Arnav, Krishna, Vijay, Bhuyan, Srinivas, Raghu, Robin, Saikat, Sajid. Anyone?
No, Shoaib, all good.
Right. So again, one last thing to mention, guys, this course, as mentioned, is today is the demo, the Certified Ethical Hacking demo. From tomorrow, we start the course. The classes at 7:30 a.m. So the batch is starting from tomorrow itself. So again, we'll have those as demos as well, but it won't be the same demo as today. Okay, it'll be from the first topic, networking fundamentals. Okay, we'll start the course from tomorrow itself. It's at 7:30, as mentioned in the chat box. Okay, in the morning, 7:30 a.m. Okay, so again, it is suitable for people who have office as well. I suppose it's early beforehand, before you leave to office itself. It's around 45 minutes every day. So 7:30 to 8:15 or so. Okay. If that time is not suitable, please let the organization know and they'll arrange a separate batch in the evenings if there's an availability. Right now, there's no evening batch. There's one currently running ongoing as well. It's about to end. So once it ends, you'll have an evening batch as well. But for now, the batch time that has been allocated is 7:30 in the morning and the classes start from tomorrow itself. Okay, you can, if you have registered with the correct email, you'll be getting the link for the class tomorrow on your email itself. Or if not, I think the link is mentioned here itself. Yeah, demo link. It's in the chat. You can join using this link from tomorrow at 7:30. Okay, the classes begin from tomorrow itself. Tomorrow we'll have the first class of the actual course, networking fundamentals. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining the session today, guys. I hope I've clarified all your questions. I hope you enjoyed the demo and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye. Take care.
So,
Bye.
sorry, what is the course duration? Like, how many days it long?
35 days minimum, which is 35 to 45 days. That's it.
Okay, okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Bye.